Who's really getting defunded? Radical programs helping trafficking survivors, at-risk youth, and women escaping abuse shut down while taxpayer money flows elsewhere. Let's break down what's really happening and why it matters.
I heard about fighting for life, and so, Mr. Tabaka, or Ambassador Tabaka, I am curious, does it look like you're fighting for life when you cut 17 million people off of their health care?
It does not.
Does it look like you're fighting for life when you're kicking people in this country, I want to be clear, we're talking about the United States, in this country, off of food assistance?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, this hearing supposedly is being about radical leftists and whatnot. So I do have some questions about that. But before I get there, I am tripping about how much we are loving on Viktor Orban here in the United States. Well, and I shouldn't say we, them, how much they are loving on Viktor Orban. I have an interesting article that I would like to enter into the record as a UC.
Without objection.
Okay, thank you. Hungary's Orban demonstrates
Thanks for the tap.
how to dismantle democracy. Some of the interesting things that are said in here. Number one, Trump went further in 2 months than Orban could in 15 years. This year, faced with an increasingly unified opposition in parliament that has rallied behind a charismatic lawyer and politician, Orban's attacks on media, civil society, and freedom
Without
of assembly
objection.
have gained momentum. This is part of my words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my time is still going. In addition to that, there is mention that Orban focused on ridding Hungary of any institution capable of checking his power. Sounds something like Donald Trump, does it not?
I wouldn't necessarily speculate on what the two presidents are doing.
Don't speculate. I'm gonna tell you, it sounds like Donald Trump. Now, while we are talking about taxpayer dollars, let me tell you, and you know, Donald Trump agreed with me at some point in time about this particular one. I have another UC. Elon Musk gets $8 million a day from taxpayers.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. Listen, if we want to start talking about who's donating to who and who's getting money, last time I checked, Elon Musk did close to $300 million to get him into office, and it seems like there was a direct payment right back to him. I get that it's not a not-for-profit, but at the same time, it is federal dollars. And you know what? Earlier, someone mentioned these hellholes, talking about the cities, right? Talking about cities being hellholes. I just want to point to Los Angeles. I'm sure that's one of the cities they were referring to when they said that. Los Angeles contributes almost $20 billion in taxes. You know what? That's more than all states in this country except for 4. So guess what? If we are going to push any ideologies, it seems like LA should have an outsized interest in the ideology, because it seems like they actually contribute more money than all these other states, especially these red states, to be clear. In fact, I have another UC.
Without objection.
All right, blue states are bailing out red states. I have another UC.
Without objection.
Massachusetts sends more funding to the feds than any other state. It seems like blue states are constantly putting red states on life support, yet we got these little red states that ain't contributing nothing, but they are definitely taking up a lot of money. You know, it is interesting because the governor in California, I don't know if you caught this, but Governor Newsom was talking about just holding on to his dollars, because California is what they call a donor state, meaning that they actually contribute more than they take from the federal government. And then you can go down south to states like Louisiana, who are broke, and so they need California to pay in. So it is so interesting that we are so concerned about whether or not we are pushing certain ideologies. But let me talk about some of these. I've got a few questions. We're gonna play a game called Radical or Restorative. Radical or Restorative, a nonprofit that provides shelter and legal aid to human trafficking survivors.
Restorative.
A DOJ-funded program that mentors at-risk youth to prevent gang violence.
Restorative.
A grant-funded organization that helps women fleeing domestic abuse with housing and trauma support.
Restorative.
A USAID program that works to shut down scam compounds trafficking people in Southeast Asia.
Restorative.
A faith-based nonprofit helping migrant children reunite safely with family.
Restorative.
A community group receiving DOJ funds to reduce gun violence in cities.
Restorative.
And the final one is a global initiative that prevents trafficking and keeps people from being forced into labor or sold into exploitation.
Restorative.
Thank you so much. Mr. Ambassador, what's shocking is some of these programs are the very ones that Trump and my Republican colleagues are working to shut down if we really want to look at who is doing the work to help us. And as we have just talked about some sex trafficking, I'm still trying to understand if you have anything that you would like to contribute about the Epstein files that they absolutely refuse to release.
Ma'am, I think it would be very helpful for the American public to be able to see the results that have evidently been kept in whatever that file is. There's been many years in which folks have investigated Mr. Epstein and those around him. He went to jail once. He was about to go to jail again before he died. And his compatriot is currently in prison. Those facts need to be known.
Thank you so much. I will yield.
When you watch this hearing, it's easy to see it as just another political clash over funding, but the reality is far more impactful. Rep. Jasmine Crockett isn't just asking questions, she's drawing a spotlight on programs that literally save lives and prevent tragedy. These aren't abstract bureaucracies. They're nonprofits and initiatives working on the front lines to support people escaping domestic abuse, mentoring at-risk youth, helping trafficking survivors, and even protecting vulnerable communities from violence. Crockett methodically lays out a simple yet powerful argument. If you truly care about life and safety, the programs she's highlighting should be celebrated, not defunded. Yet, under Trump's proposed budget cuts, these organizations face the real risk of losing federal support, which would directly affect millions of people who rely on them. We're talking about human lives, not just line items in a spreadsheet. She challenges the narrative that these programs are radical by showing that their work is restorative, effective, and evidence-based. One of the most striking moments comes when she plays the radical or restorative game, reading a list of nonprofits that are doing critical work, from shutting down human trafficking operations abroad to mentoring children in U.S. cities. Each time, the answer is restorative. Every single one. This isn't ideology, it's tangible results. Programs that reduce harm, improve communities, and support vulnerable individuals. Yet, despite this evidence, the political framing pushes a different narrative, labeling life-saving work as expendable or even radical. Crockett also raises a critical point about who is actually paying for these decisions. She highlights the dynamic between blue and red states, showing that states contributing significant tax revenue, like California, often end up subsidizing policies in other areas, while simultaneously having their own life-saving programs threatened. It's a deeply human story about priorities, whose lives and well-being are being valued, and whose are being disregarded for political gain. This isn't just policy theater, it's about accountability. Crockett's questioning forces us to confront a bigger question. Are budget cuts really about efficiency, or are they a deliberate choice that disproportionately harms those who can least afford it? When you start connecting the dots, it becomes clear that what's at stake isn't just dollars, it's access to healthcare, safety, and support for communities who are fighting to survive in a system stacked against them. If you want to understand how political decisions trickle down into real-world consequences, this hearing is a case study in action. It's a lesson in civic awareness. Funding decisions are moral decisions, and politicians are accountable for the outcomes of their choices. Programs that protect people, support children, and restore safety to communities should not be seen as optional or expendable. They are the lifelines of a functioning society. Make sure you're informed. Watch the full hearing, follow the data, and understand the impact of these defunding efforts. If you want more breakdowns like this, more analysis that explains not just what happened but why it matters, subscribe to Left Lens. Knowledge isn't just power, it's the tool we need to hold our leaders accountable.